Thanks for your support as a channel member, Rens Nans! Oscar Piastri leads the World Championship after winning the last 3 races, but will his winning run come to an end at Imola? Hello folks, F1 is back. It's back in Europe and at Imola, the famous circuit for potentially the last time in probably quite a while, to be honest. It's the last year of the circuit's contract, and the way things are going, even with an expanded calendar, I don't think there's going to be room for the Imola circuit to remain on the calendar unless it potentially alternates with the Monza circuit in Milan for the Italian Grand Prix, but I don't see that happening. And we're back with McLaren still very much the team to beat. Oscar Piastri leads Lando Norris after winning in Miami. And maybe Lando Norris let that one get away from him. But will Lando get back on course this weekend in Italy? Because he nearly beat Max Verstappen to victory there last year. And what of the Dutch World Champion? How will he fare with the Red Bull this weekend? So lots of predictions to make. Your predictions to come as well. So let's get stuck into them. So, starting with pole position, I'm going with Lando Norris. He has struggled to extract the maximum out of the McLaren. It's been a tricky car to really get in the sweet spot over one lap. But I think in Jeddah, he was the fastest man over one lap. Yes, he crashed, but that happens. We've seen world champions do it before. So, no driver's immune from a qualifying accident. It happens. It's just part of the job. And then in Miami, he was on course for pole position, but then just made a couple of little errors at the final corner on both of his laps, and he didn't quite get the job done, and it allowed Verstappen to sneak in and grab Grand Prix pole. So he's had the edge on Piastri, and I think McLaren are going to be very, very strong this weekend in Imola. They're definitely going to be the team to beat. How close the pack are, not quite sure. If Lando can have the edge over Oscar in qualifying, it's going to give him a massive advantage heading into the race, because Imola is not an easy overtaking circuit, so I think this is going to be a race that hinges very much on qualifying. Let's move to my podium. I'm going with Mercedes' George Russell in 3rd place, as he was in Miami, as he has been several times this season. Mercedes having a relatively good start to the season. Not since 2021 have they been so successful in the start of the season, because this generation of cars they've not really got a handle on until now. So George has been extracting the most out of that machine. Kimi Antonelli obviously getting that sensational sprint pole in Miami, but George getting a little bit of fortune. He's had really good speed over the season so far. He got that fortune with the podium in Miami, but still doing a very good job. Needs to, because his contract is up. So I think Mercedes are just going to have a bit of an edge on Red Bull. I can see George pipping Verstappen over one lap to get himself on the podium. Let's move to where the McLaren drivers are going to finish then. I've got Oscar Piastri in 2nd, and I said a moment ago, this race could be dictated by qualifying because it's so difficult to pass generally around the Imola circuit, and in the fact that it's difficult to pass with this year's cars, the amount of turbulent wake they're creating. Pole position will be key, and that will allow whoever gets it to dictate the strategy that the team has, and this is assuming it's an all McLaren front row, of course, which in this prediction it is. So Piastri might have to settle for 2nd place, and I'm sure he's the sort of guy who will go, yeah, alright, Lando can win the race, but I'll play percentages and I'll just keep finishing behind him until I absolutely can beat him, because there might be days where Lando's level is just untouchable, but there'll be days where Piastri, because he's so level, will just be way ahead. He'll get the job done, he'll minimise mistakes. I think that's where this championship could be won and lost between the two McLaren drivers. It's how often is Piastri ahead because of his consistency against Norris. And that leaves Lando Norris as the race winner. He hasn't won since the opening race of the season. He definitely needs to win this weekend. And even if he doesn't win this weekend, I think he will be looking forward to Monaco, a place where he's gone well in the past. And I can see McLaren being very dominant there. So there's 2 circuits coming up here that will be completely, potentially, dictated by qualifying. And whoever qualifies on pole position should go on to win the race. Now, before I move on to your predictions, I had a slightly different bold prediction of who finishes higher. And this week we are focusing on Williams. It's Alex Albon versus Carlos Sainz. Alex has done a great job. He's exceeded many people's expectations. Obviously, Carlos Sainz is adjusting to a new team, a new car, a new environment. And Williams are basically throwing this year in the bin, despite the fact that the car's really good. For next season, they're putting all their eggs into next year's basket under James Vowles. So, who finishes higher? Alex Albon or Carlos Sainz? I'm going to go with Carlos Sainz to beat Alex Albon this weekend. That is my bold prediction of who finishes higher, and we'll come to some of yours right now. Alright, time for some of your predictions. So obviously we've got Kimi Antonelli here front and centre. It'll be his first home race as a Formula One driver. Good luck to him this weekend. Now, some of you kind of missed the memo on this, so I think make sure you double check everything that's here, because some of you missed what the bold prediction was going to be. So make sure you double check it. So let's go through everyone who has given us their poll top 3 and the correct bold prediction. We did have some very interesting bold predictions, but not the ones I was after. So Crazy Plays has gone Max Verstappen on pole position, but he's nowhere in the top 3. What is going to happen to Max Verstappen, Crazy Plays? Let us know in the comments. He's gone with the same podium as I have of Lando, Oscar and George, with both Williams to DNF, but Carlos Sainz to finish to stop after Alex Albon. Therefore, Sainz beats Albon by virtue of doing more laps. That's a brilliant prediction. Love that. LA Racing says Oscar for pole position. He will then go on to win the race ahead of Kimi Antonelli and Max Verstappen. Loving the medal emojis here. Very cool. And Alex Albon to beat Carlos Sainz. The cool down room has gone for Lewis Hamilton on pole position for Ferrari. Imagine that. Imagine that. But then again, he's nowhere in the top 3. I mean, maybe a Ferrari botched pit stop. Who knows? Kimi Antonelli, though, to win the race. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? That would be incredible. Oscar Piastri, 2nd. Max Verstappen, 3rd. Where are Lando and Lewis in all of this cool down room? Let us know. Carlos Sainz to finish higher than Alex Albon. Very nice. Crispy Bacon has gone for Piastri on pole and victory ahead of Norris and Antonelli. And then Crispy Bacon has said Alex Albon to finish higher out of the Williams pair. Electric Gaming has gone for George Russell on pole, but the British driver will lose out to Oscar Piastri in the race. Antonelli will finish in 3rd, and Carlos Sainz to finish ahead of Alex Albon. Lots of interesting podium predictions here. There's so many that are, so far, not the pole position driver winning the race. Some of you, I think, are expecting or predicting a race where we have overtakes. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Who else has replied to not putting their Williams prediction? So Justin here has gone with Oscar to take pole, but then Lando to win the race ahead of Oscar and Alex Albon. Justin, he admits he is full delusion right now. He is one of our Williams stans, Albono stans. I think we can forgive the optimism here because Albon has been great. Williams have been very, very good. So yeah, let's get on the hype train and get carried away. Finally, Optics has gone with Piastri on pole, and to convert that into victory ahead of Lando Norris and George, same podium trio as I have, just a slightly different order. I think whoever gets pole is going to win the race. Imola is quite a boring track. Not a boring track. I will contest that it's boring. It's an exciting track. It's a challenging track because it's narrow, and if you make a mistake, you will be punished. But yes, the racing will be boring, dull, because it's difficult to overtake. So just the distinction there in the phraseology I will contest. But Alex Albon to finish higher than Carlos Sainz. Albon has been crazy consistent this season. He absolutely has. He has been fantastic. I mean, if Williams don't deliver a front-running car, one of the top teams needs to look at Alex Albon in terms of maybe not their lead driver. I don't know if he has that sort of speed in him, but he would be just an unbelievable number 2. Red Bull must be thinking, what on earth have we let go? Because he's gone away and rebuilt himself. It's just a slap in the face to the way Red Bull do things, isn't it, I suppose? So, yeah, fantastic predictions there. Very interesting collection, and thank you for sharing them. So that's what I think, and that's what some of you guys think. If you haven't had your say on whether Albon or Sainz will finish higher, tell us in the comments. Crazy Players and Cool Down Room, tell us what happens in each of your scenarios to all of those other drivers that were mentioned. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching and for submitting your predictions. Let's look forward to an exciting weekend of racing action. We've got F1, F2, and I think Formula 3 are even at Imola, perhaps. I'd need to double check that, but they should be. But yeah, lots of action to look forward to, so it should be good times. Thanks for watching, guys. You're the best fans. It's bye for now.